That's the one thing about our audience. They always want a new guy to break through the glass ceiling.
And all you have to do is just be real.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. I am the jabroni beating, pie eating, trailblazing, eyebrow raising, talking is done, you're out of your class, no sleep till Brooklyn, The Rock whips your ass. Woo!
I wish you and King would quit talking.
Welcome to Around the Ring, episode 19 for today, Monday, May 18th, 2015. My name is Dave Brown. I am your host. Hope everyone is having a great day today. So this week we're going to talk about two major things. One is the Payback PPV from last night. I'm going to go over my thoughts on that, and then we're going to do my predictions for the upcoming NXT TakeOver Unstoppable event, which is this Wednesday, the 20th, on the WWE Network. I'm really looking forward to that. Also give some little bit of thoughts on the most recent episode of Lucha Underground and how that show is really revolutionizing what we see and should expect out of professional wrestling. So, real first, I've been sick, so my voice is all jacked up. We'll see how this goes. Not sure how long we're going to be today, but please forgive me if I sound all effed up. That's because I got crap in my throat. And it's not been fun. You know, it's freaking May. I shouldn't be having colds like it is, December 15th or something. This is ridiculous. But, anywho. So, last night at real quick, before we get into Payback, this last week on Raw, on the John Cena Open, U.S. Open Challenge, Neville came out, and it was really good. I'm really enjoying this John Cena Open Challenge, U.S. Open Challenge. I think it's a great idea. You're really getting to see a lot of guys come out, and even if they're losing, they're going up against what has been the top guy in the company for a decade. And he is bumping around for these people, and a number of people have been able to kick out of his finisher, mainly Sami Zayn and Adrian Neville, and it's been good. I think it's a really good way of showcasing younger talent, newer talent, and helping them get over. And it really is bringing prestige back to this title, because the mid-card titles have languished for a very long time. It was really hard when you had your two top titles, the world title and the WWE title, and then you had these two secondaries. When the brand split was going on, it was easy. You treated, each show had their champions, their primary championship and their secondary. But now with that gone, there's only one tag title, there's only now one major title, thankfully, which, even though at first I was opposed to the idea of merging the world title and the WWE title, I think it's been a good thing. I was mostly against it because, in my heart of hearts, I'm a WCW fan. And going back to the Crockett Promotions, going back to the NWA, and I see that belt, the big gold belt, and all the history that it represents. And I didn't like the idea of it going away. But, excuse me one second. Sorry about that. Sorry. I didn't like the idea of the belt going away. And, yeah, but it's been good. Having only one major title has definitely been a good thing. And that gives the opportunity for these two secondary titles to finally mean something again. Sadly, though, the other big thing on Raw was Daniel Bryan relinquishing the Intercontinental title because he's going to be out with an injury for who knows how long. There's been no information about what kind of injury it is, if it's related to his previous injuries, what. So it's hard to say. My thoughts and prayers go out to Daniel Bryan. I hope everything is okay. I hope he can heal up and get back into the ring. Him relinquishing the Intercontinental title was definitely the right thing to do, and made him look like an even more stand-up guy than he already did. And it'll give an opportunity for someone else to win the title, which they're going to have the title up in the Elimination Chamber in 2 weeks. We'll get to that here in a little bit. But I think the original plan was for Bryan and Cena to elevate those two belts, the IC and the US belts. And Cena's done a very good job of doing that. I think making the United States title kind of the workhorse title, kind of the way that back in the day the World TV title in the NWA and WCW was their weekly title that was defended on TV almost every week. It was kind of the workhorse belt. I think making the U.S. title that type of belt would be great, and then have the Intercontinental title as just one step ahead of it, above it. Make it, one step away from the World Championship and making it mean something. So I think whoever they pick to take over the belt needs to be someone who's going to continue to bring a lot of legitimacy to it. But we'll get to that here in a little bit. But last night, so that's pretty much my main thoughts for Raw. Raw was a relatively forgettable episode this week otherwise, even though Dean Ambrose had some great moments in his hometown of Cincinnati, Ohio. That crowd was weird. It was like when he was out, they were on fire. When Daniel Bryan was out, they were on fire. And then they were kind of, It was just interesting. And admittedly, I've slept a lot since then, and being sick, I might not remember everything as clearly as I could, but... And I didn't. Well, I watched part of SmackDown this week. I just wasn't really in the mood. But back to the main thing, Payback. So I watched pretty much all of the pay-per-view as it was happening. I missed most of the pre-show. I saw the very end of the Ascension Mandow or the Meta Powers match, and I was surprised to see the Ascension go over. In a way, I think it's a good thing, because if the Ascension lost, they would need to be cut. They just need to go. They need to become a jobber team. The Ascension really is pretty awful. And considering all of the different amazing tag teams that there are, not just, down in developmental, because there are a couple really good ones down there, but you think of all over the world and all the indies, you've got teams like, the Young Bucks, Red Dragon, the Addiction, and others that are out there that you could, WWE could sign and could have on TV, and we could have these great tag matches. But now they bring up these couple of pretty much jabronis in Connor and Victor in the Ascension. Their matches aren't god-awful, but they're not great. They had some decent stuff in NXT. Their promos are always cringeworthy. I hate seeing them with a microphone, because it's going to be bad. But I can see, WWE spent a lot of money over the years developing these guys, and they want to give them a fair shake, which is understandable. You don't want to just cut bait too soon on somebody, so let's give them a shot so they get the win. Whether or not Curtis Axel and Damian Sandow continue with this Meta Powers gimmick, I don't know. I kind of like it. I loved the idea of Damian Sandow doing this Macho Man impression, and then when I saw it, I was just like, well, I guess it just didn't quite work. And I want to see Damian Sandow be Damian Sandow, just like I want to see Curtis Axel be Curtis Axel. Let's let them be themselves. That's probably not going to happen ever. So it is what it is. The pay-per-view itself opened up with Sheamus and Dolph Ziggler in their match. Dolph did get, for Sheamus, 2 kisses, butt cheek, which Sheamus did some great reactions out of the ring afterwards. This match was really a good match, and it's another one of those things that shows Dolph Ziggler is phenomenal. This guy can just work, bump around. He's incredible. But the match ended, and toward the end, Ziggler hit Sheamus with a nasty headbutt, and he was busted open. Well, whether it was he bladed or whether he got busted open from the hit, who knows? There are pictures of stitches and a video of him getting stitches afterwards, after the match, online. And I haven't watched the videos, but I've seen some of the pictures. Pretty brutal. It was a pretty big gash. But he was bleeding all over the place. And Sheamus got the win, which was expected. I mean, Sheamus lost the first match. So he wins the second one. We'll have a rubber match either at Elimination Chamber or Money in the Bank, I'm guessing, at some point. And they'll finish off the feud. Either that or they will both be involved in the chamber match for the IC title and maybe the Money in the Bank match, but we'll see. Then we had, let's see, what was it? Who did come next? Tyson Kidd and Cesaro against New Day in what was probably the match of the night. 2 out of 3 falls. It was awesome. And so, of course it's going to be awesome. It's Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. I say this each and every week. You put them out there with a handkerchief and a toothbrush, the match is going to be fantastic. But, I mean, they had great opponents. Let's not discount Big E. Let's not discount Kofi. And let's certainly not discount Xavier Woods and the great stuff he does outside of the ring. Also in this case, sneaking into the ring and catching the fall, unbeknownst to the referee, which I thought was great because it just heals up these guys. And there was even a moment during the match when Xavier jumps on the apron and starts screaming, "Freebird rules, Freebird rules, let me in," and the ref's like, "No way, you're not in this match." So that was really good. And then we had, what was next? Was next the John Cena match? Yeah, I think. Okay, well, I think actually next was Bray Wyatt and Ryback. I might be getting the order on this wrong. So one of the next match, Bray Wyatt against Ryback, really also a very good match. These guys worked surprisingly well together. Wyatt got the win. He needed it, so I'm totally okay with that. Then there was the I Quit match. Or no, wait. Then there was the... Oh, fuck it. Who cares what the order was? There was the John Cena Rusev I Quit match, which also was surprisingly good. Some things I thought were a little weird. They would hit them... They'd hit each other and say, ask him, and why they didn't just start railing on each other. I don't know. It just seemed like if this was a real fight, then it would have gone down a little bit differently. But one can never say that a John Cena match is like watching a real fight. That's for sure. We then had the Divas god-awful tag team match. The Bella Twins against Naomi and Tamina. Naomi and Tamina won. Who cares? It was awful. Then, let's see, we had the match. I actually forgot about the Neville Wade Barrett match until it came time for that one. That one was also very, very good. These guys have really good chemistry together. Adrian Neville is phenomenal. And Neville got the win via countout. Barrett attacks him afterwards. Definitely not over. We're going to see more of these guys in the ring. Can't wait for that. Then we had the main event, Fatal 4-Way. Seth Rollins defending against Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and Randy Orton. And it was really good. I mean, really, really good. I really enjoyed this match. We had the great triple powerbomb moment where the former Shield guys ended up ganging up on Randy Orton. They put him through a table with a triple powerbomb. Seth Rollins acting like, "Oh man, we're back together, we're friends again." And then Reigns and Ambrose turning on him. Ambrose was over like a mofo. So was Randy Orton. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, not Reigns. Ambrose. Ambrose was freaking over like crazy. The crowd was even into Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns losing at WrestleMania, I'll say it again, was one of the best things for his career. Because people have started to warm up to him again, and now he's having a more organic build. And he doesn't feel like he's just being shoved down our throat. Now, had he won last night, people would have probably booed like crazy. But he almost won. It came down to this point where it was just him and Ambrose in the ring, and they went back and forth. They were smiling, respecting each other. It was actually really cool. And then there was almost a pin. Seth Rollins broke it up. Eventually, Orton came into the ring, and Rollins got a pin with a pedigree, and not a very nice-looking pedigree. We got to get this guy a new move, really. The Phoenix Splash would be awesome because that looks great, but we got to get this poor fool a new move. And so Rollins retains. Kane did the whole stayed with the authority angle, and it was good. Overall, I'm going to have to rank this pay-per-view as probably a B. I really enjoyed it. It's been, it was, we've had, 4 pay-per-views this year? And, Royal Rumble, Fastlane, WrestleMania, Payback, WrestleMania, Extreme Rules, Payback. And so far, I'd say that this was probably the third best. WrestleMania was probably the best. Royal Rumble, until the Rumble match itself, was the second best. And then this one. This was an overall very good pay-per-view. I really enjoyed it. It was earth-shattering, no. There were some disappointments. I was hoping to see the Wyatt family back together on the show, but that didn't happen. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun watching it, and that's what you want out of professional wrestling. People get real serious about this crap, and talk real, like it's real life and death important, and it's not. It's a TV show you watch for fun. And I watched that show last night, and for 3 hours, I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I didn't have any moments where I was like, God, will this please end, even during that Divas match. I did happen to get up and go to the bathroom during that. But it was a lot of fun, and I'm hoping that this means good things to come from WWE and see what we've got coming up next, because within the next 4 weeks, we've got 2 more pay-per-views. We've got, in 2 weeks, Elimination Chamber, and 2 weeks after that, we have Money in the Bank. Now, at Elimination Chamber, there have been a couple matches announced. There are 2 chamber matches that have been announced. One, the tag team title will be defended in a chamber for the first time. That should be awesome. Trying to figure who the teams are going to be, that I can't... And I'm not sure how they're going to do that, but I'm really looking forward to it, because if nothing else, I mean, it's Tyson Kidd and Cesaro and the New Day are going to be back in the ring together, and that always ends well. I mean, that always ends with fun. A fun match and good times had by all. The other match will be to determine the new Intercontinental Champion. That should be a lot of fun, too. Who knows who's going to be in there? I'm not even going to try to pretend on predictions. I'm hoping that we're going to get Ziggler. I'm sure Sheamus is going to be in there, because apparently there are places. The place that is doing the Raw after Elimination Chamber is already advertising that Sheamus is the Intercontinental Champion. If that's the case, I seriously want to barf. But if it's like Ziggler, Sheamus, Barrett, Neville, need 1 or 2 more guys. It has potential for being really, really good. So that's pretty much that on the big WWE end of things. So, this show is probably going to be pretty short today. Well, before we get into NXT, let's talk a little bit about Lucha Underground. Lucha Underground this week was a great show, as always. The highlights were Aerostar and Jack Evans had a phenomenal match. The Aerostar won, but Jack Evans looked just awesome through the whole match. And then there was basically a fatal 7-way match that Phoenix ended up winning for an Aztec gold medallion that I guess gives immortality. King Cuerno was in that match, so was Cage, so was not Drago, Pentagon Jr., so was Sexy Star, and then the 2 guys who were in part of Rick's group, the Mac and some other dude whose name I can't remember. But it was fun. Then there was the main event, which was Alberto El Patron against Hernandez for the number 1 contender. And what was big about this match is the heel turn of Johnny Mundo. Alberto gets out in the ring, Johnny Mundo hits the ring, and this was a no disqualification match. You had to win by either pinfall or submission, and Johnny Mundo DDTs Alberto on the floor and then drives him through the window of Dario Cueto's office. And the great thing is you got this visual of Alberto El Patron laying on this windowsill, and Dario walks over to him, looks at him, and smiles, and then walks over and pours a drink. Crowd is chanting, "Why, Johnny, why?" Johnny then throws Patron back into the ring. Hernandez gets the 3 count. Hernandez is now the new number 1 contender. We should see him in a match against Prince Puma soon. And the show ends with Mundo standing in the aisles, saying that something along the lines of "This is my house," and or "This is my world." And I think the storyline's going to go that he's pissed that Alberto El Patron comes in, gets all this fanfare when he's been there from day one and is the face of Lucha Underground. That was a lot of fun, and again another really fun show. I had issues trying to find a good stream of it because I don't have cable, but I thought about watching Impact this week and then decided I had better things to do. And so let's talk about NXT. NXT this week there was a match. Crap. You know what? I'm actually blanking on the matches, to be completely honest. It was a good episode. The highlight was the Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens standoff at the end, and in which Sammy's screaming out, telling him, is this, why'd you do this? Is this because of your kid? Is it something else? What's the deal? Are you jealous? And Kevin Owens leaves the ring and says, with his back to Sami Zayn, says, "You know what? I know your injury, your real injury. I know what it is. And after TakeOver, I'm going to make sure you're out with it permanently." It was really well done. And really did set the stage very well for NXT TakeOver Unstoppable, which again is this Wednesday night. So let's go over the card and do my predictions, and then we will pretty much get out of this mug. So we're going to have Baron Corbin against Rhino. So this is interesting. Baron Corbin has been beloved by the NXT audience, the folks at Full Sail, and I guess because he's going against Rhino because they love Rhino, he's now getting booed. And he did have a match against Solomon Crow, which was pretty mediocre match, and they were chanting "Baron's gonna bore you," which was pretty hilarious. The problem with Corbin is he's got this great presence. I don't like the idea of him just being a straight up heel. He needs to be like a tweener, but he hasn't progressed that much in the ring yet. And I don't know how much of that is he hasn't or how much they haven't allowed him to, because he still has 30-second long matches and they're getting boring at this point. It was great at first, but we need to see him in a long match that he wins and barely wins. So him against Rhino should be pretty interesting. I think Corbin's going to win. There's going to be either Corbin wins or somehow it sets up for another match later on. And even if Corbin does win, it's probably not going to be the end of things. But yeah, I say Baron Corbin goes over. We then have a Divas tag team match, Bayley and Charlotte against Dana Brooke and Emma. I think Dana Brooke and Emma are going to win. Dana Brooke's probably going to get the winning fall. She's their new pet project, even though she is actually awful. I mean, she's done something with her hair. From what I've seen, at least previously, she's been this blonde, and she now has this almost silver platinum-y hair dye thing, and it looks awful. And she does these like unending gyrations and poses and stuff in the ring, and then in the ring she's pretty bad. So it is developmental, so give her time. But she's going to need the win, and so I suspect that she's going to get the pin over probably Bayley, maybe Charlotte, and we'll see what happens. I mean, Bayley, Charlotte, and Emma can all go, so it has the potential to be really good. Dana Brooke just, I think, kind of sucks. Dana Brooke is one of those, she's kind of the example of everything that has been bad that WWE has tried to promote in the last few 10-some-odd years. The kind of diva, even the kind of, John Cena-esque wrestler. Nothing against John Cena, but you guys know what I mean. So we'll see what happens. Then we've got number one contenders match. It's Finn Balor against Tyler Breeze. Originally, it was going to be a triple threat. Balor against Breeze against Hideo Itami. Hideo Itami is injured. He's going to be out for like 8 months. So we're going to have Balor against Breeze. This should be phenomenal. Both of these guys are incredible. I suspect Balor's going to win. So that's my pick, is we're going to have Finn Balor going over. NXT Tag Team Championship, Blake and Murphy defending against Enzo Amore and Big Colin Cassidy. I'm going to agree with Solomonster on this one. I think we're going to see a heel turn by Carmella, causing Enzo and Cass to lose, setting up for another match down the line. Now, Enzo and Cass need to win this title at some point. They might not be the best wrestlers in the ring, but their promo skills are off the hook, and they need to run with the belt. So what I would, if I was them, I would have Carmella turn, Blake and Murphy squeak out a win, and then at the next TakeOver event, have the rematch, and Enzo and Cass come out on top. Next up, we've got the Women's Championship, Sasha Banks defending against Becky Lynch. This could be the show stealer. It's going to be a great match, and honestly, I have no idea who's going to win this. Becky Lynch is awesome. Sasha Banks is awesome. They and Charlotte and Bayley all just need to be up on the main roster, showing those girls what ass-kicking is really about and what wrestling is really about. But then again, they'll get to the main roster and probably get screwed up because, WWE creative people suck. So I have no idea. I'm not even going to pick one. If I'd have to venture a guess, I would say Sasha retains, but I'm not even going to try to really pick one. So I'm just looking forward to watching it. It's going to be great. And then finally, the main event, NXT Championship. Kevin Owens defends against Sami Zayn. Now, Sami Zayn does have a screwed up shoulder. He messed that up in his match against John Cena on Monday Night Raw a while back. And but apparently he's going to go. He's okay enough to do the match. I think Owens is going to retain, and Sammy will get his comeuppance later. But I think they're probably going to do an injury angle, so that way Sammy can be out for a little while and get healed up. Now, the other big news about Unstoppable is it's been rumored. There's stories out there that Samoa Joe has finally signed a 2-year deal with WWE, and that he will make his debut at Unstoppable. Also, apparently, he's going to be allowed to keep his name, which I think is great. Why Prince Devitt couldn't keep his name, why Kenta couldn't keep his name, I don't know. But Samoa Joe keeping his name, that is definitely the way to go. Now, again, this begs the question, if you're going to hire Samoa Joe, why didn't you go after AJ Styles? I don't know. Man, I really don't know on that. I think that's something based on what I've heard things Triple H say. He's not impressed with AJ Styles. How you can not be impressed with AJ Styles, I don't know. He's probably the best wrestler in the world today. So why you wouldn't want him on your roster, I don't know. But it's very possible we're going to see Samoa Joe on Wednesday. If we do, I wouldn't be surprised if he did something to Kevin Owens. We'll see. It's going to be... who knows what's going to happen, but I do know that NXT TakeOver Unstoppable is going to be 2 hours of excellent wrestling this Wednesday, May 20th. If you're not already subscribing to the WWE Network. It is more than worth it just for the NXT stuff alone. I know you can also watch that on Hulu Plus, which I also subscribe to. But it's worth it to watch it on the WWE Network, I think. Also, there's some other good stuff on there. I'm enjoying Renee Young's show. I'm enjoying, what's his face? Corey Graves' show. I'm enjoying a lot of stuff on there, and I'm looking forward also to the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, which will only be on the WWE Network this time. So, even though that was all thrown together last minute. So yeah, that is pretty much it. So, we talked about Payback, we talked about Unstoppable, and we talked about the fact that I feel like crap and have a cold. So, you know what? I think we're going to end it there. I know you guys... my faithful 40, you have stuff doing, so I appreciate you taking time out of your day and to listen to my ramblings. I always try to keep things as concise as possible because, you know, your time is valuable, and I don't expect you to spend much more with me than you absolutely have to, but I do appreciate everyone that listens. Hey, make sure to follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/AroundTheRingOK, or I'm sorry, give us a like there. You can follow us on Twitter at AroundTheRingOK. Don't forget our homepage, AroundTheRingOK.wordpress.com. And you can hear us over on K98Talk.com, on the Spark Radio Network at thesparkradionetwork.com/AroundTheRingOK. And on the Shoot Radio Network, or the Shoot, no, God, that's its old name. United Podcast Network at unitedpodcast.weebly.com. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, I'd love to hear from you. Please send me an email, aroundtheringok@gmail.com. And that is pretty much it. So until next week, hope everyone stay safe out there. Next week is Memorial Day, so we'll be back here on Memorial Day. You guys have a great week, great weekend, and like the Jerry Springer man used to always say, take care of yourselves and each other.
You've been listening to Around the Ring on the Spark Radio Network.
All you have to do is change your point of view. And believe.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. Bam! Woo!
This sucks more than anything that I've ever sucked before.
What? It's for charity.